Official, Milos Kerkez is a Liverpool player. Rodrygo to Arsenal. Real wants 90 million. Casemiro leaves Manchester, lured by a huge salary. All of this and more in today's episode. Milos Kerkez officially becomes a Liverpool player. The 21-year-old left-back underwent a medical and signed a contract until 2030 after transferring from Bournemouth for £40 million. This makes him the most expensive left-back in the club's history. Last season, he played 38 matches, contributing 2 goals and 5 assists in the Premier League. Kerkez is a product of AC Milan's academy, played for AZ and joined Bournemouth in 2023. The deal was made possible after Bournemouth signed Adrian Truffert as a replacement. This is already Liverpool's 4th signing this summer, following Frimpong, Pesci and Wirtz. Kerkez is considered a key element in Arne Slot's squad rebuilding efforts. Liverpool's next signing will most likely be a centre-forward, as Darwin Núñez is expected to leave the club and likely join Napoli. Who else would you like to see at Liverpool? Isak, Osimhen or someone else? Casemiro is close to a move to Al-Nassr, and the transfer could be finalised very soon. According to Football Transfers, all parties have already reached a principal agreement, and the player himself is ready for the move. The deal is almost complete, with only final legal formalities remaining. The transfer of the 32-year-old Brazilian was initiated by Cristiano Ronaldo, who personally convinced Al-Nassr's management to sign his former Real Madrid and Manchester United teammate. The transfer fee will be approximately 25 to 30 million euros, and Casemiro will receive a salary of about £650,000 per week. This is almost double what he earned at Manchester United, making him one of the 5 highest-paid players in the Saudi League. With this sale, Manchester United aims to reduce its wage bill, which is already overheated for the Red Devils. Of course, it still needs to be decided where Rashford and Sancho will go, but more on that later. Barcelona has officially opened the door for Ronald Araújo's transfer, setting a price tag that has already attracted interest from Manchester United, Chelsea and Bayern Munich. The decision to sell has been supported by both the board of directors and head coach Hansi Flick, who does not consider Araújo indispensable in his long-term plan. Barcelona will not actively push out the player, but is willing to consider serious offers. 60 million euros is considered a green light for negotiations. The reason for the sale is quite simple. I think everyone knows about Barcelona's financial difficulties, and the club wants to reduce its wage bill and also make room for new signings, particularly Nico Williams. Araújo himself is not asking for a transfer. He feels comfortable in Barcelona and has support in the locker room. At the same time, he is willing to consider offers if they align with his ambitions. This could become one of the summer's most high-profile deals if Manchester United or Chelsea decide to act. Theo Hernández is on the verge of leaving AC Milan. After several weeks of negotiations, the Rossoneri and Al-Hilal have agreed on the main terms of the transfer, and the French defender has given his final consent to the move. The clubs are currently finalising the last details of the agreement. The transfer fee is around 25 to 30 million euros, including bonuses, with a salary of 20 million euros per year. The player himself has already informed Milan of his desire to move to Al-Hilal. Initially, Hernández hesitated about moving to Saudi Arabia, but after the personal intervention of Al-Hilal's president and an improved financial offer, he finally said yes. This transfer will be one of Milan's most high-profile sales this summer, and at the same time, a key signing for Simone Inzaghi, who is building a new team in Riyadh. Real Madrid has officially announced the price for Rodrygo, 90 million euros, and Arsenal now clearly knows how much they will have to pay for the Brazilian. Last season, Rodrigo lost his status as an indispensable starter for the Madrid side, and towards the end of the season, there was information that he was ready to leave Real. But after Xabi Alonso's arrival, Rodrigo decided to wait with his final decision and wanted to regain his starting spot under the new coach. Initially, everything went well, but now Alonso also doesn't see the Brazilian as a guaranteed starter and didn't even release Rodrygo in the Club World Cup match against Pachuca. Therefore, Rodrigo's departure from Real is now more than real. Arsenal sees him as an ideal winger for Arteta's system, especially after the failure with Nico Williams. Manchester City, Chelsea and Tottenham are also monitoring the situation, but Arsenal is currently leading the race for the player. Rodrigo earns over 240,000 euros per week, which is more than most Arsenal players. To facilitate the transfer, the club might sell one of its wingers, with Martinelli and Trossard potentially at risk. By the way, according to Bild, Bayern Munich is considering Gabriel Martinelli as an option for the left flank after Leroy Sané's departure to Galatasaray. Although he is not the #1 priority, the club considers him an interesting profile that fits Vincent Kompany's playing style. Arsenal values the Brazilian at £50 to £55 million, and the club is not against selling if they receive a decent offer. As for Leandro Trossard, he was a subject of interest from Saudi Arabian clubs, particularly Al-Ittihad, who offered £30 million for the Belgian last summer. However, Arsenal immediately rejected this offer, stating that the player was not for sale under any circumstances. Arteta considers him a key rotation player, especially given his versatility and ability to impact the game from the bench. I think if the Gunners want to, there will be no difficulties in selling Martinelli or Trossard. So returning to Rodrygo's transfer to Arsenal, given all of the above, it looks quite realistic. Do you think Arsenal should buy Rodrygo given his €90 million price tag? Bradley Barcola, one of the most coveted options for strengthening Bayern's left flank, will remain at PSG, and this is the club's final position. President Nasser Al-Khelaifi personally informed the Munich side that Barcola is part of a long-term project, and head coach Luis Enrique considers him a key player in his system. Barcola himself has no intention of leaving Paris, despite competition from Ousmane Dembélé, Kvicha Kvaratskhelia, and Désiré Doué. He was surprised by Kvaratskelia's winter signing, but after a conversation with the club, he received assurances that he remains an important figure in the team and decided to accept the challenge. Bayern, who dreamed of Barcola's transfer, is now forced to revise its plans. As another priority, Nico Williams has already agreed to a personal contract with Barcelona until 2031. The Catalans plan to activate his €58 million release clause, but for this, they need to free up space in their wage bill. All parties are confident that the transfer will happen, so Bayern has definitively lost the chance to sign the Spaniard. Thus, both of Bayern's main targets for the left flank, Barcola and Williams, are unavailable, and the club is forced to look for alternatives. The shortlist includes Jamie Bino Gittens from Borussia Dortmund. He is young, dynamic, but inconsistent. Also, as we mentioned above, the Munich side is considering Gabriel Martinelli from Arsenal. Kaoru Mitoma from Brighton and Rafael Leao from Milan are still on the wish list, but these options are quite expensive, although it is not excluded that Bayern will start negotiations regarding the transfer of these players. Ultimately, all these options have their pros and cons, but none are ideal replacements for Leroy Sané, who has already moved to Galatasaray. Bayern is also considering a loan option or postponing a major transfer until 2026 if they cannot find a player who meets all requirements. Brighton is preparing an official offer of £40 million for Harvey Elliott, and the transfer looks quite realistic. After Florian Wirtz's arrival at Liverpool, Elliott found himself even deeper in Arne Slot's rotation. Last season, he played only 822 minutes in the Premier League, and the player himself recently stated, "I don't want to waste years of my career." This served as a signal for clubs, and Brighton was the first to make a serious move. The Seagulls see Elliott as an ideal player for their attacking philosophy: technical, mobile, versatile. Moreover, the club believes that James Milner can convince his former Liverpool teammate to join them. Liverpool has not yet responded to the offer, but the club is prepared to consider a sale, especially if they can include a buyback clause, as was the case with Quansah and Leverkusen. That's it for now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Keep watching for more football action and have a wonderful day.